an honor to introduce to you this next beautiful, precious woman of God. Not only are they powerful, they're beautiful inside and out. This is our children's pastor. Sarah came to work. What year did you come to work here?
2007, I think.
2007?
Uh-huh.
All right. Came to our school. Yes. That's our beautiful children.
Stay tuned, I'll tell you about it. Stay tuned, I'll tell you about it.
Yeah, and that handsome man back there, I mean, after all, that's your guy, isn't it?
Yes.
That curly-headed wonder. Her and Nick both graduated from our school, but she came to work here in 2007, and did we have a journey?
We did.
And we're still having fun.
We're still. Buckle up, sister.
I love you, girl.
I love you, Bella. All right. When Bella asked me to share, I was like, sure. I speak to little ones. I don't really speak to the big ones. Yeah, I'm the children's pastor, but I love to. If I had to title it, I would title my little speech today. My testimony is, it's not at all what I had imagined. And my story's probably like some of yours that you're sitting here right now. And life has thrown some things at me, and it would be easy for me to just say, it's not fair. If you're a parent, you've probably heard that a time or two. And as every good parent has said before, you say to your children, life is not fair. We've all said it before. Life's not fair. Get used to it, buddy. It's just how it is. So I'm going to take you on a little bit of a journey of Sarah. So from 7th grade to high school, I had the privilege of attending school here. And sometimes if you were doing really well academically, you could sit in the front office and you could volunteer and you could answer the phones and pretend like you were an adult in the real world. And so I remember very vividly sitting in that front office as a 16, 17-year-old young lady, and I began to daydream, and I would play ministry and pretend like I worked full-time at the church, and I dreamed I married this wonderful man, and we had 5 perfect children who loved God, and they served in ministry right alongside with us. We had the house, we had the picket fence, we had it all. Okay, it was the whole shebang. Of course, I was doing work at that time, I'm sure, as I was sitting there daydreaming. But I mean, I love God with all my heart, and I wanted to serve him. I had a real desire to serve him. And so I thought to myself, why wouldn't things turn out exactly how I had envisioned? It literally never crossed my mind that things might not come out exactly how I planned it. So I graduated high school. I went to beauty school, and my plan was going so good. And then I got a call one night while I was working at Sonic that my dad had what they thought was a stroke. It turned out to be an arterial venous malformation. He had to have a big 12-hour-long surgery. And along with that came some cognitive deficits. He lost half his vision. He lost his ability to drive, and he became quite dependent. And we've managed really good, and he's got an extra 24 plus years from that surgery. We're so thankful. But I might say this on repeat. It's not at all what I had imagined. In 2007, our pastors asked me to come on staff as the children's pastor. I was so excited. I mean, I didn't see it coming at all. Blew me away. I was on my way. I was doing hair, on my way to living hair dreams, sniffing hairspray with the Becky Franklin. She worked at the same shop I did, and I thought, this is it. I mean, come on, the dreams, this is it. This is my time to live the dream. And so I jumped into ministry with 2 feet, poured my heart and my soul into the ministry, and I loved it. And in the fall of 2010, after 5 years of being married, did I skip that? Just have to pause. In 2005, I married the man of my dreams. And I just like to say he's way more than I ever could have imagined. Like, he's 10 out of 10. He is, I love you. So in 2010, we've been married for 5 years. We thought, okay, it's time to bring on the Radford part of the little baby Radford part of our journey. Okay. So I got pregnant right away, and overjoyed is a weak word for what I felt. We didn't tell anybody because it was in the fall, and we thought Christmas is coming up, and you see all the, you get the cute little presents and you tell your family, and I was so excited. This is what I had imagined. You can't even imagine the daydreams I dreamed about my baby and what all the things were going to come along with it. And at 11 weeks, I went to the doctor alone that day because of scheduling. But we found out that my baby didn't make it. And it's not at all what I had imagined. And the doctor came in and he talked to me, but I didn't really hear anything that he said. I was just devastated. And I began to realize really for the first time that, it's real. Life is not really fair. My mom was not lying. It's not fair. It's not just something your parents tell you. And I began to feel my faith get shaken like it never had before. Where once I had this unwavering, trust in God, I now found myself full of fear. Fear literally gripped my life. I had this wound that was fresh, and it was raw, and it was not at all what I had imagined. And I allowed fear to control me, and I became a slave to fear. Sonia taught about it in 2011 at a conference. Personally, my world was shaken to the core, but God, he enveloped us in his arms, and he began to walk alongside me. I love that. He knows my name. He walks with me. He walked with me through the process of learning how to trust him when I didn't have all the answers, when I didn't know what the next looked like in our lives. And the doctor said, it happens. It's normal. Wait 6 months. It's okay. You can try again. So that was in the fall, during March, the ladies' conference the next year, God showed me, he rebuked me for living in allowing that fear to become master in my life. And so he really set me out on this journey. When 6 months had passed, Nick and I decided, okay, let's go for it. And we got pregnant again. A sweet, sweet, sweet little baby. We cautiously went to our next appointments. We saw our little peanut, saw a little heartbeat, and we got so excited, got the plans to how to make all the announcements, all the things. My faith was pumped. Devil, you tried to squash my faith, but look at me go. I'm going. This is what I had imagined. And I began to dig into scripture like I never have before. So I had a whole list of scriptures that I would read every day, and I couldn't sleep at night because I was struggling with fear. And so I'd play them on repeat on my phone all night long. It was just, I had these scriptures going and going and going because I was in this real fierce battle with fear. And let me just take a little side note here and say every situation that you go through, no matter what it looks like, can be used to devastate you or can be used to develop you. And as I was battling each day, digging into that scriptures, I was getting muscle and I was getting stronger and I was learning how to become a warrior because little did I know that I had more battles waiting for me in future. We've all heard that message, that you're not buried, you're planted. So when you go through the tough times in life, cling to the Father, put in that spiritual work. Don't let the trials devastate you. Allow them to develop you into a fierce devil fighting machine. So at 14 weeks along, again, I had to go to the doctor by myself because we all live busy, busy lives. And I was just going in for a routine ultrasound. They were kind of keeping a close eye on me. Everything was going great. But they told me that my baby no longer had a heartbeat. And devastated is the only word that I could use to describe my feelings at that time. It was a huge blow to my spirituality to receive that news. It didn't take me out, but I had a wound, and at this point, it was jagged, and it was beginning to fester. Every single one of us have experienced storms, no matter what shape or form it's in, because storms are coming. John 16:33 tells us that in this world, you will have trouble. And you have a choice whether you want to concentrate on the wind and the rain. Bella, that was a beautiful message last night. The wind, the rain, or the water, you can keep your eyes on God and allow him to calm us right in the middle of that storm. And after I recovered from that ordeal, I was working in the front office. Pastors were out of town, so I was in there all by myself. And me in that office, we did a lot of daydreaming and thinking in that office up there. I had Pandora playing in the background, some worship music, and I just kind of felt like I needed to write a little bit. So I sat and I wrote. I typed a little on my computer, and as silly as it sounds, I felt like God kind of wrote to me. And I started typing, and as I was typing, I saw myself standing in a ship, or a sailboat, if you would. It was in the middle of this huge, huge storm. But I saw myself in two different scenarios. In one, I was frantic. I was looking and checking and worrying and trying to bail out water. I'm wondering if my mast was going to break, and I was waiting for my ship to sink. It was a huge storm, and I knew that there was zero chance that I was going to make it out alive. And the more I checked on things and the more I began to bail out that water, the greater my panic got. And it got to the point where I just had a full-on panic attack. And then I saw myself in the second scenario, and I saw the wind, and I saw the rain, and I saw the storms, and I saw all the same thing. But in the middle of the boat, I stood. I stood with my face towards my Father, and I began to feel the warm peace just come and flow over me, and it was like a blanket. And I was beginning to be oblivious to the storm that was around me. And I had this huge smile on my face as I was looking at my Father. And as I was looking at him, things began to change. You see, everything changes based on what you're looking at. My storm didn't change. But as I fixed my eyes on my Father, I began to change. So let me ask you, what are you looking at? Because listen, there's so much to see when we scroll on Facebook, when we're looking at our Instagram feed, when we watch the news at night. Your vision, what you see, when Krista talks about being able to see her children coming back, it's centered around what you're looking at. So when you're looking at those things, you see devastation, you see anxiety, you see all those things. But when you focus on Scripture, when you focus on your Father, you're going to see peace. I mean, you can literally feel anxiety come on you and weigh you down and keep you up at night as you begin to scroll on Facebook. You see your problems, you see your wounds. Too long in your personal life, you spend the time looking at your struggles, and it robs you of your sense of peace. So what are you looking at? What are you giving your attention to? It doesn't mean that you're oblivious. It doesn't mean that you're in denial. It doesn't mean a lack of awareness of the realities that you're facing. It just means that you've given a prioritized amount of attention to your Father. Make sure you're looking at who God is, at the promises that he's declared over you, at the truth that he's written down in his word. The writer of Hebrews says it this way: fix your eyes on Jesus. He's the author. He's the finisher of your faith, meaning that he's still sovereign. He's in control. He's still seated on the throne. He is who he says he is. He can still do everything that he said that he can do, and nothing is happening in your personal life or mine that's outside of God's control. And you might forget that if you're looking at the swirling wind and the waves and all the things, but you have to be intentional, and I do too, every single day, about meditating on the truths of God, about looking into them and finding out what his promises are, what he declares about my family, what he declares about my health, what he declares about my daughter, my son, my church, my country, the culture that we live in. What has he declared to be true? I'm going to meditate on that more than I meditate on everything else. Where have you been fixing your eyes? So the day before that devastating appointment, it was a Wednesday night at church, and we came home, and I was just sitting in my garage. And surprise, surprise, I was worrying, like, God, I don't know. I just don't know. Is everything okay? Every day it was just a battle. And I heard God speak to me, trust me. And I know now that he was not saying, trust me, everything's going to work out exactly how you had imagined it. It was a simple request from God to trust me, trust him even in the middle of the storm. So as I was sitting in the office that day, I felt like God wrote this next part to me, and I'll share it with you guys, because could it be that maybe you're in the middle of a storm? I don't know what it looks like, but these words were powerful to me. He said, you were in that ship, and every day, every moment, you were watching the waves, watching the clouds, watching the winds, measuring this, measuring that. Are my symptoms gone? Have I lost the baby? Am I sick? Is this normal? It was worry, worry, worry. You will never rest in my perfect peace as long as you focus on the storm. Focus on me. Trust in me. Every day, think about me. Every moment, measure my goodness. Measure how wide, how high, how long, how deep my love for you is. Let hope arise in you and then dwell on it. Allow my perfect peace to envelop you. And after I wrote that down, the song Healer began to play. And I was like, God, you can't even make this stuff up. You guys sang it last night. I was like, And he said, make this your heart's cry. Sing it until you believe it. It doesn't matter what the situation looks like to the natural eye. Trust me. Put your focus on me. Don't dwell on the storm. Meditate on me. And a few words of that song is, you hold every moment. You calm my raging seas. You walk with me through fire. You heal all my disease. I trust in you. I believe that you are my healer. I believe that you are all that I need. I believe you are my portion. I believe that you are more than enough for me, because Jesus, you're all that I need. And nothing is impossible for you, because you hold my world in your hands. I learned that the Father holds me closest when you're in the middle of the storms. And so we talked with the doctors, and we waited a couple months, and we decided to try again. We got pregnant right away. And in 9 months, 41 weeks, actually, we had our beautiful Nora Grace, healthy and sweet. She is such a joy and a gift to us. She was such a neat little toddler. By 3, we always say it, she knew all the books of the Bible. She was reading. She could say all the states and capitals. She just had an exceptional high IQ. She was just brilliant. And then when she was almost 3, we had the perfect little boy join our family, Nixon. He's just the best little man. He blesses me so much, and he looks like his mama. So I'm like, I love it. So now we have two kids, 1 boy, 1 girl. What more could you ask for? Okay, we're ready for life to settle into that white picket fence phase. Everybody take a breath, say, whew. It was hard getting there, but by golly, we got there. This was exactly what I had imagined. I mean, it was so great. The first year that 2007, me and Miss Carla took kids to summer camp. Summer camp's just an awesome experience any way you look at it, except for the bugs and the roughing it part. That's a little hard. But we were worshiping, and the presence of God was so powerful in the auditorium. And in my mind's eye, and I know I've telling about 2 things that God has shown me. I'm not super spiritual. It's just like God got my attention. And in my mind's eye, I saw this fabric vessel, tattered vessel looking thing. I don't know, just like a fabric vessel. And it had holes and it had cracks and frayed edges. And I thought, okay, that's kind of, okay, that's just a raggedy thing. I wish that vessel was kind of nice and perfect. Like, what in the world is that thing supposed to hold? And then I begin to see this fabric vessel being hoisted up on a flagpole. And I thought, that's embarrassing. And then they began to reveal that it was like in the middle of a football, kind of like a football field. And I thought again, look at the holes. Look at those cracks. Look at the frayed edges. Look at all the seams that didn't quite meet. That vessel probably needs to be taken down. And the next thing I saw was several people coming on to that field. And then I saw this warm, kind of sparkly, honey, golden-looking liquid coming from heaven and being poured into this vessel. And much to my amazement, when the vessel was filled, each hole, each crack, each little torn seam began to work kind of like a shower head that allowed that sparkling substance to pour out on all those people that were on that football field. And I felt like God was really showing me that I was that broken vessel, and that as he poured his anointing in me, that he would use me to pour out into the youth of the next generation. And at that time, I thought the holes and the cracks were just my inadequacies. How could you use me? I'm too shy. I can't get my thoughts together. I can't articulate my words well. I'm not enough this. I'm too much of that. But as life went on and I've lived out the breaking of that vessel, I realized that those were wounds, if you would. And I've felt every hole and every crack. And I've realized that it's allowing his glory to shine through me. And there was a miracle in the breaking of that vessel. In 2018, Nora was 5.5. She began having seizures. And so by November, she was diagnosed with epilepsy. And we were told, the road that you're on is hard. It's going to be difficult. We didn't really know. We didn't understand because we didn't know anything about seizures or epilepsy besides what you see on TV. So I enrolled in Google Night School every night, just DIY epilepsy high school. I don't know, just searching and searching endlessly for answers that never really came. By December, everything kind of spiraled down. She was having hundreds of seizures a day. The nights were the hardest. We literally didn't sleep for probably 2 years. It was really, really rough. Terrified that we'd miss a seizure. She had seizures that continued on past the part where it could cause permanent damage. I don't like to cry. I've held her so many times. Thank you, Dustin. Something about the stage, it brings it out in you. Calling her name over and over and over as she was just laying in your arms unresponsive. And our life became a constant readiness. We called 911 so many times. Just exhaustion, fear again, making impossible decisions. Many times just waiting for help as your child just turns blue in your arms. It takes a toll on you. It makes you snot. Had a lot of snot. And at the same time, life just kept lifing. You guys know how it is. My mom had some major life-threatening health issues that required a lot of hospital visits, a lot of doctor's appointments, major surgery. My dad was having some health conditions that required a lot of attention at that time. I had other family members who were in very vulnerable states. Some of them dealing with addiction and everything that comes along with that. So many people that I love struggling just to live. And so I kind of felt like if one catastrophe would have happened, we got this. Wouldn't blink an eye. But at least like 4 major catastrophic events happening at one time, and it rocked my world. Again, it put my faith to the test. This is not what it's supposed to look like. It's not what I imagined up in that office. And there's been a lot of grief. Thank you for whoever left the tissue there. There's been a lot of grief, a lot of gray hairs, a little extra wrinkles on my face. I feel like I've lived 10 years for every one that we've actually lived. But on Monday, we go in for a week-long EEG. Nora's scheduled to get a vagus nerve stimulator placed soon. She's not super excited about the EEG, but here we are in the deep waters. But we know that God will sustain us. Our trust is more in the anchor Jesus than it is in the storm. And sometimes we're tempted to trust that the storm's going to take us out more than we trust that Jesus will keep us in the middle of the storm. And like I said, my testimony is no different than yours. Maybe you came in today and you're barely holding it together. You've experienced loss, disappointments. Maybe it's the unfathomable diagnosis. Things just didn't turn out the way that you thought that they were going to turn out, not the way you imagined. It's unfair. You didn't ask for it. You didn't want it. You didn't see it coming. Yes, life's unfair. Bella told us last night, but there's something else that's unfair. The unfair favor of God is the hope that we have in the midst of our hopelessness. It's the unfair grace, the goodness, the mercy that followed you when you woke up and got out of bed this morning. You didn't ask for it. You didn't deserve it. It follows you because God and his kindness and his justice and his mercy is so overwhelmingly generous to me, to you. It's unfair because you couldn't earn it. We don't deserve it. And we have to remind ourselves that when we're in those seasons that we have to navigate in life. You have the wound. It's not made it to the scar stage yet. You're in the middle. You have to remind yourself. You have to find that place in the unfairness, a language, a vocabulary, a tenacity of faith that gets you through that season. So many heroes in the Bible had to navigate the unfair. Joseph. It's not fair that Moses was born at a time when all the babies were supposed to be murdered. It's not fair that he had to be put in a basket and sent away from his family. How many of you guys know that the favor of God still guided that basket where it's supposed to go? It's unfair that Joseph was thrown in the pit, but God used it for his promotion. It's unfair that Jesus, who was sinless, did nothing wrong, had to die on the cross, but I'm so thankful that he did. In 2 Chronicles 20:12, this is King Jehoshaphat in there. He's just honest here. He's praying, and he said, "Oh God, why don't you stop them? We are powerless against this mighty army that's about to attack us. We do not know what to do, but we're looking to you for help." Did you guys catch that? He says we're powerless. We do not know what to do, but Lord, this is one thing we know. We know where we are setting our eyes. Our eyes are on you. Jehoshaphat was a good king. He was known for honoring God and leading others to do the same. But right before the whole blow up happened in chapter 20, scripture tells us that he had resolved to live upright and honor God. And that's kind of how it goes. The moment you decided to truly live for God, live for integrity, to forgive, to tithe, God, I'm going to tithe, I'm going to lead my family well, that's when the battle shows up. For Jehoshaphat, it wasn't one army, it wasn't two, it was three. And two of them had been an army that he was familiar with before, battles that he's faced before. And so many times the struggles that we face, they're not new. Enemy's not that creative. It's the same patterns, the same pressures. It just shows up in different scenarios. But this time it all came at once and it broke him. And it kind of sounds familiar, right? It's true for us. And he said, we have no power. I can't fix this. I can't fix any of these situations. I don't know what to do. We don't even have a plan. We've been there. Have you guys been there? Not just overwhelmed, but you're also out of answers. Then he says this, our eyes are on you. And that's the shift, guys. When you're surrounded, when life stacks up against you in ways that you don't expect it, it's not the goal to figure it out. It's not the goal to find out all the answers. It's your goal to fix your eyes on God because that's what shapes you. If you focus on the problem, you're going to have anxiety grow. When you focus on God, something begins to steady in your spirit, even if the storms don't stop. Allow the pressures and the things that you go through in life to send you straight to the Father. Not just casual faith, like Carla was talking, like full-on, real, intentional dependence on God. Just Jehoshaphat didn't deny there was a problem. He admitted, I'm powerless. But he refused to let that be the final word. He chose to look up, and that's his invitation for us. You may not know what to do. You may feel surrounded, but you can choose where your eyes go. Because when you fix your eyes on God, you allow strength, you allow stability, peace to settle out those situations, even the situations that are not at all what you had imagined. That's all I had to share. Thank you, God, that he's working.